Good evening, everyone. My name is Ian Morrison, the Chair of the Board of the Cowichan Valley Regional District. I'd like to welcome everyone in the audience here today and those people watching from at home. I'd like to first acknowledge that we're gathering today in the territory of the Coast Salish people. I'd like to ask everyone around the table and in the audience in the room here to please turn off or turn your electronic devices to silent. And with that, I would like to call the open meeting of the regular board meeting of Wednesday, May 8th to order and would turn to Mr. Barry.
First item, Mr. Chair, would be the approval of the agenda. There are no additions or deletions.
Moved by Director Stone, seconded by Director Smith. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? There's none opposed. That motion carries. Next item.
April 24th, regular board meeting minutes for adoption.
Moved by Director Yanni DiNardo, seconded by Director Sebring. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? None opposed. The motion carries. Any business arising from those minutes?
No business arising.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. We now come to the public input period of our meeting, scheduled for 15 minutes. The rules of the policy are up on the board, and I welcome you to come to the microphone. Please turn on the button so that the red light on the microphone lights up. There you go. And welcome.
Hello again. Just a couple of points that didn't get mentioned last week. Our son Jared's degree includes planning, surveying, and climatology, and his partner's education and work at Butchart Gardens has been a tremendous help in the planning for uses of and water management on the proposed 5-acre parcel. We already use reclaimed water, but the advances made in cistern building, recycling gray water, and the new soils developed in water retention will help significantly in what we want to do. Our sons and their partners live and work in Victoria, but take every advantage of weekends and holidays to come back to the farm. Richard and I would like to move on to the 5 acres, and with their help, new ideas, and hard work, develop it into a thriving mini farm to remain in the Nichols name for many more years to come. It has been our pleasure to support agriculture in the Cowichan Valley, past, present, and hopefully long into the future, to help where we could in our community, at the boys' schools, 4-H, coaching baseball, as foster parents for over 20 years with high-risk teen boys, and now for me as a search manager with Cowichan Search and Rescue. Our family would like to thank the directors for your time and consideration on our application, and it is our hope it is forwarded to the ALC for their consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to provide input to the board today? Welcome.
Hello, my name is Lori Fritz, and I'm just here to comment on the rezoning application before you. On the May 1st committee meeting, it was recommended to be denied, and I'm just hoping that that recommendation stands. I'm not too sure how many people have all of the information or how many people have been included in the discovery that happened at the hub or the other committee meetings that happened throughout the 2018, with regards to 3755, 3737 Rosedale Road. We, as a community, have come together to speak out about this again at the hub meeting. We've been to committee meetings. We've done everything that we possibly can do to let the CVRD know that we're really just not interested in having this large-scale cannabis production facility in our neighborhood. We have a bunch of people. So if you want to just raise your hand or stand up that are in our neighborhood that have again come to this board meeting today, just to let you guys know that we really, really do support the decision of the committee to deny this application at this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to come forward and provide input?
Hi, my name's Lex. I'm one of the neighbors from the proposal there on Rosedale. Just to put it in your perspective too, obviously this is a precedent sort of case scenario. So I just implore you to really take a good, long, heartfelt search into what we want this community to look like in the long run. So not only in this situation, but the many more to come. So we really need to just fine tune it and make sure that it balances with the community, with the neighbors, and everybody involved. So at the end of the day, everybody can walk away and they're happy, they're content, and everything's organized, maintained, and well looked after, that we don't have to deal with any emergencies and fires, and all of a sudden we've got 300 properties in the region that have all these dilapidated buildings that were previously shows or not shows, or, you know, like I said, we take a good long look, not 5 years, not 10 years. Let's look at 20, 30 years down the road. What are we going to end up with? So just to put that out there, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
Hello, yes. My name is Sheila Paul, and hello to all the board and the chair. I just want to say that I'm from Area B, from the other side of the mountain. So I concur with what was just said, but I also can just look into the future a little bit where I live. I live near Thane and the quarry, and I just really don't want to set a precedence where maybe I'm going to walk with my rescue dog, and albeit there's going to be all kinds of applications down on the Kingburn area or such places. So I really thank you for your time on this application, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to provide some input to the board today? Call one more time. Looks like everybody's staying seated. So next item, Mr. Barry.
If there's a report of the chair, Mr. Chair?
Yes, there's just a very brief one. I'd like to let the directors and the community know that Mr. Carruthers, our CAO, and I attended an Island Health meeting that was of hospital district chairs and CAOs and most of the Island Health Board. It was a very informative meeting. It was fairly high level, and there was explanation of a lot of the services, some of the work that they're doing with the First Nations Health Authority, and I was there mainly to learn and also share the fact that we are going back to our December 31st budget cycle, and have asked them for some information that will help us to be able to include some of their minor capital requests in our budgeting. And for the most part, it was a fairly typical meeting, I think, from the staff's perspective. Is there anything further to add, Mr. Carruthers? So I look forward to the next one, which I believe is UBCM. They have the next one. So if there's anything new that comes up in between, I'll keep you informed. With that, next item.
Item CR1, the report and recommendations of the Electoral Area Services Committee meeting of May 1st. Director Yanni DiNardo.
Thank you. Report and recommendation from May 1st, 1 through 3. The recommendations are that a grant and aid Electoral Area B, Shawnigan Lake, in the amount of $1,000 be provided to Cobble Hill Event Society to support music in the park. 2, that a grant and aid Electoral Area D, Cowichan Bay, in the amount of $200 be provided to the Cowichan Bay Improvement Association to support the purchase of new Canadian flags for the Village Cleanup Day. 3, that a grant and aid Electoral Area D, Cowichan Bay, in the amount of $500 be provided to the Cobble Hill Event Society to support music in the park.
You're moving those items?
I move those items.
Seconded by Director Smith. Any discussion on any of those 3 items? And this is for all directors. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? None opposed. That motion carries. Director Yanni DiNardo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Electoral area directors only, and there is 4 and 5. I'm pulling 5 and only speaking to 4 currently. The application number RZ18B01 3737-3735 Rosedale Road be denied.
That motion is seconded. Do we have any discussion on that item? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? That motion carries. Director Yanni DiNardo.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I turn to our corporate secretary to explain number 5 to us.
Mr.
Yes,
Barry.
thank you, Director Yanni DiNardo. There was a recommendation passed at the EAS committee that an application, this is for 3836 Glenora Road, be denied. And they continued with the recommendation and then send it to the Agricultural Land Commission. You can't do that. If you deny it, you've killed it. So you can't do both parts. If you choose not to kill it, you could simply move that the application be referred for their consideration, but then you live with their decision. So really, you need to do a motion on either one.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. I'll turn to the director for the area in just a moment, but just so that for those people watching, we had quite a unique discussion of this at committee, and we find ourselves in a not a totally unique situation, but I think we can deal with this today, and I'll turn to the director for the area and ask her what her intentions are.
Well, first I'd like to ask a question, if I may.
Please do.
So we were presented with 3 options, or 4 options, I think, and we chose one of the options. And what you're saying is that that option is not appropriate?
Correct. You can't deny, kill an application, and then send it off for referral, because you've killed it. So you can't do both
Well, I
parts.
thought we were recommending to deny. I thought we were providing a recommendation to the ALC.
Actually, yeah, what wound up passing, and I recognize it went back and forth at that meeting, is that application such and such on Glenora Road be denied, and further refer it to the Agricultural Land Commission. So you can either deny it and kill it right here, or you can send it to the Agricultural Land Commission with the recommendation to deny, but you have the power to kill it right now. You don't have to have someone else make that decision for you.
Okay, so I don't believe our intent was to kill it. So I would like to move that we forward it to the Agricultural Land Commission. Pardon me? No,
Continue.
lost my train of thought.
You were going to move that it be referred to the Agricultural Land Commission, and I think with a recommendation
Of denial.
to deny. Turn to our corporate secretary. Is that appropriate? That was an option that was defeated at the time.
Mr. Chair, you could do that, but you have the power to deny it right now.
But we don't want to.
Yeah, but you're recommending that it be denied. You have that power now. So I would answer that's not appropriate. If you want to deny it now.
Director Nicholson.
So I would like to speak to this motion. Has it been seconded?
Well, it hasn't been seconded, but I'll take discussion to hear what your thoughts are.
Well, my thoughts haven't changed from when we discussed it. This is a really very difficult application, and probably one of the hardest ones I've had to deal with in my area. So it's a piece of agricultural land reserve land, and the longtime owners who have been good members of the agricultural community and have stewarded their land well are requesting that they subdivide off 5 acres, I think, or hectares, 5 hectares of their land, and we have a 12-hectare minimum on agricultural land. So the official community plan is very clear that you cannot, the policy is that we don't subdivide agricultural land. It's really important to keep farms intact so that they can be viable. And Moreover, I am concerned because it is part of, it is within the Cook Silo watershed, and I am very concerned that we not continue to develop in the watershed until we understand better the water shortages that we're facing into the future. So we have, certainly, everyone understands we have water problems. So I cannot support this moving forward, despite the fact that I am very sympathetic with the applicants and their wishes. But I think that this is the Agricultural Land Commission's final call, so I would like them to at least have the courtesy and fair hearing by having it go to the Agricultural Land Commission.
So I'm just, for some clarification, normally we would have a resolution on the floor, which we don't. I'm just taking some general comments. It was, as I said, a fairly unique debate at committee. I will turn to Director Acton next. No, I'm good. You're good? Director Kuhn.
Well, it seems to me the director of the area is not in favor of subdividing this land, but doesn't want to say so, wants the Agricultural Land Commission to say so. Well, it's our call. It's if you're uncomfortable with the subdivision, then denied. Or else go to the Agricultural Land Commission and leave it up to them without comment. But to go to them and say, well, could you do my dirty work and deny it? I don't think that's the way to do it.
Thank you, Director Kuhn. So I go back to the director for the area. You had made a motion that wasn't seconded at that point, or you had begun the process of making a motion, so I will turn and ask if you would like to provide your colleagues with your intention and direction.
Well, I would like to make the same motion I made just a moment ago.
And could you please say what that motion is?
Is that we forward it to the Agricultural Land Commission with a recommendation to deny.
I will ask if there is a seconder for that motion. I see no seconder. Director Acton.
I hate to do this, but I would like to make a motion to refer back to EASC. I think we should probably give this a fair shake where we can hear from the applicants again and look at the community plan. And if we can't agree with the director of the area, we should be discussing this. It was a bit of a mixed bag.
We have a motion to refer this back to committee for further discussion. Is there a seconder? We have a seconder. So, no debate, just any comments on the propriety of referral? Seeing none, this is electoral area directors only. Call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion's defeated. Director Yanni DiNardo, would you like to engage?
To deny, yes.
Director Yanni DiNardo moves it be denied. Director Kuhn seconds. Do we need any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, just so we can read it right into the record, the motion would read then that application number ALR 18E03 3836 Glenora Road be denied.
Everyone's clear on the question? Call it now. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All those opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. The motion.
And for the record, Mr. Chair, we need to get the names.
Can we get the opposed to raise their hands?
Director Salmon, Director Wilson, Director Acton, Director Nicholson.
I declare that motion carries. Next item, CR2, turn to Director McGonigal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Your Community Services Committee reports from a meeting earlier today as follows: that the 30-year renewal of Provincial Aquatic Lease number 102999 with the Ministry of Forests, Lands, Natural Resource Operations, and Rural Development for Shawnigan Wharf Park, legally described as District Lot 1 Shawnigan Land District, be approved. that the 2016 to 2026 license of renewal and amendment agreement for the operation of the Cowichan Estuary Nature Center be transferred from the Cowichan Community Land Trust Society and assigned to the Cowichan Estuary Nature Center Society. And I'll pause while we have some exiting people.
Please continue.
Number 3.1, that the 3-year service expansion initiatives for 2020/2021 to 2022/23 outlined in BC Transit's letter of May 1st, 2019, and the accompanying expansion memorandum of understanding be approved. And part 2 of 3, that the 1,400-hour custom system expansion for basic Sunday service targeted for implementation July 2020 be approved, and the associated 6-month estimated cost of $15,509 be included in the 2020 CVRD transit budget function for function 107. Part 3 of that transit service expansion hours and associated costs for 2020/21 through 2022/23 be incorporated into the 5-year financial plan for transit budget functions 106 and 107. Part 4, 1, that the following sports tourism events grants be approved. CFAX Road Runners in the amount of $500. Cowichan Lake Pickleball Club, amount of $1,000. Cowichan Lake Trailblazers Society in the amount of $500. Cowichan Trail Stewardship Society, the amount of $1,000. Cowichan Valley Sports, International Chinese Hockey Program, $1,500. Cowichan Valley Wrestling Club, $2,000. Duncan Junior Baseball, $1,000. Duncan Junior Baseball for the under-12B Girls Provincial Softball Champion, $1,750. Duncan Meadows Members Association, $500. Honeymoon Bay Community Society for carpet bowling, $750. Kerry Park Skating Club, Interclub Competition, $1,500. South Cowichan Lawn Tennis Club for the Vancouver Island Grass Court Championships, $1,500. Try One Events, Cowichan Crusher Gravel Fondo, $1,000. Vancouver Island Pickleball Association for the 2019 Pickleball Championships of Vancouver Island in the amount of $500. And 2, that the Cowichan Valley Regional District, CVRD, 5-year financial plan budget for 2019 be amended to increase revenue by $1,500 and increase expenditures by $1,500. And with those, I would move those.
Seconded by Director Stone. Any discussion on this report? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? There are none opposed. That motion carries. Next two staff reports, Mr. Barry, can I ask directors turn their microphones off, please?
First staff report from the Finance Division regarding the Cowichan Housing Association Financial Contribution Agreement. Recommendation that a 3-year financial contribution agreement with the Cowichan Housing Association beginning January 1, 2019 to provide programs and services related to affordable housing and homelessness prevention be approved.
Moved by Director Marsh, moved by Director Marsh, seconded by Director Stone. Do we have any discussion on this item? I see none. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? Director Kuhn opposed. Director Smith opposed. That motion carries.
Staff report 2 from the Recycling and Waste Management Division regarding performance monitoring of Sustain Technologies Waste Management Facility. The recommendation that $4,100 be approved for performance monitoring of the Sustain Technologies Waste Management Facility in Chester, Nova Scotia, in partnership with the Comox Valley Regional District and the Regional District of Nanaimo.
Moved by Director Sebring, seconded by Director Yanni DiNardo. Director Sebring.
I can't tell you how pleased I am to see this on the agenda. 10 years ago, 11 years ago now, when I first ran for office, I said we have to find a way to start dealing with our own garbage instead of dumping it. In those days, it was up north, and then it moved to Rebanco, Washington. This may be, and we'll see, and that's why we're spending not a lot of money, $4,100. This may be the way to finally bring this home. And I'm just excited about the prospects of this. I've talked to some people at ABICC. I mean, they, as you know, have a subcommittee that's been dealing with this. This looks like promising technology. Let's see where it goes. It's exciting.
Thank you, Director Sebring. Seeing no other hands in the air, call the question. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? There's none opposed. The motion carries. To item 14, and just before we have your attention, just before we get going on this, I've learned that we like to go through these in relative order, but I understand that maybe a little slowing of the cadence would be helpful to our staff that are recording this. So I'm going to be a little bit more measured in how we go about doing this. So bear with us, and perhaps staff will be appreciative of this. So item 14, bylaws, Mr. Barry.
The first bylaw, sorry, I had to, bylaw 4196, Malahat Water System Service Parcel Tax Roll Bylaw be granted first three readings.
Moved by Director Stone, seconded by Director Yanni DiNardo. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? There's none opposed. That motion carries.
And bylaw 4196 for adoption.
Moved by Director Stone, seconded by Director Yanni DiNardo. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? There's none opposed. That motion carries.
We're doing it really well. So bylaw 4197, Malahat Sewer System Service Parcel Tax Roll Bylaw, first three readings.
Moved by Director Sebring, seconded by Director Staples. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? And those opposed? There's none opposed. That motion carries.
And bylaw 4197 for adoption.
Moved by Director Acton, seconded by Director Kuhn. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? There's none opposed. That motion carries.
The next bylaw, bylaw 4198, Malahat Water System Service Capital Reserve Fund Expenditure Bylaw, Establishment Bylaw, first three readings.
Moved by Director Salmon, seconded by Director Kuhn. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? There's none opposed. The motion carries.
And bylaw 4198 for adoption.
Moved by Director Acton, seconded by Director Marcotte. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Those opposed? None opposed. That motion carries.
B4, which is bylaw 4199, Malahat Sewer System Service Capital Reserve Fund Establishment Bylaw, first three readings.
Moved by Director Stone, seconded by Director Kuhn. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? None opposed. The motion carries.
And bylaw 4199 for adoption.
Moved by Director Staples, seconded by Director Nicholson. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? None opposed. That motion carries.
The fifth bylaw, bylaw 4260, Malahat Water System Service Management Bylaw, first three readings.
Moved by Director Stone, seconded by Director McGonigal. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? There's none opposed. The motion carries.
And bylaw 4260 for adoption.
Moved by Director Stone, seconded by Director Sebring. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? None opposed. The motion carries.
Bylaw 4261, Malahat Sewer System Service Management Bylaw, first three readings.
Moved by Director Staples, seconded by Director Stone. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? None opposed, the motion carries.
And bylaw 4261 for adoption.
Moved by Director Yanni DiNardo, seconded by Director Salmon. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? There's none opposed, the motion carries.
Bylaw 4278, Shawnigan Beach Estates Sewer System Service Amendment. This is a boundary extension. Be adopted.
Moved by Director Acton, seconded by Director Stone. Is there any discussion? Director Acton.
Is there anyone, there's no one here from engineering, is there? To ask about this?
There's no one here from
I
engineering.
will ask another time, because I saw some people who were requesting to be excluded. So I had a question around that, but thanks, I'll find out.
Excellent. You had a mover and a seconder on that? I'll call the question. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? There's none opposed. The motion carries.
And bylaw 4279, Wilmot Road Drainage Service Amendment Boundary Extension. First three readings.
Moved by Director Yanni DiNardo, seconded by Director McGonigal. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? There's none opposed. The motion carries.
And one bylaw for electoral area directors only. This would be bylaw 4268, Area F, Cowichan Lake South, Scotts Falls zoning amendment bylaw, first two readings.
Moved by Director Yanni DiNardo, seconded by Director Acton. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? There's none opposed. The motion carries.
And that's it for the bylaws.
Down to question period. Are there any members of the gallery that have questions for the chair on today's meeting? Welcome. Microphone button. Thank you.
Hi. My question, please, is now that the proposed Rosedale Road has been denied, is this the final meeting?
Yes.
Thanks.
Question on the question, can they reapply and go through the whole scenario again in a certain time period?
I believe there is a 12-month waiting period.
Okay. Curious, thanks.
He's not saying it. Any others that would like to pose a question to the chair? Well, I'm very thankful because it's been a long day, and I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Director Stone, seconded by Director Toporowski. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you for your service today, everyone.